Hello, nerdy people. Today, we are making a Velociraptor that is classed as a rogue. So, let's get started. Alright, for this drawing, I primarily kept it as an inked sketch because I was still trying to figure out if I wanted to finish this digitally or with watercolors at the time. Here we go. Actually, let's go ahead and erase that so we can center him a little bit better. Alright, let's finally get this started. So the other day, I was playing Magic the Gathering, and my boyfriend and our homie were playing their Patlaza decks. Dinosaur decks that honestly get pretty nasty with other dinosaurs around the battlefield. And I thought, why not make some dinosaurs that are classed like they're playing D&D? So, the Rogue Velociraptor was sketched along with 11 other dinosaurs to fill out all the classes. And as you can see, the Velociraptor was clearly sketched first since I knocked my camera and changed the camera angle, and restarted for a third time. This is the last time I changed his positioning, but I do wish I moved him over a smidge to the left so that he kept all his tail feathers on the page. And since I'm drawing so many dinosaurs, I figured, why not do a fun dinosaur fact segment? For this first edition, I actually learned the more scientifically accurate versions have feathers all over their bodies, instead of looking scaly so they don't really resemble Blue or the raptors that take out Muldoon in the Jurassic franchise. They weren't used for flight, but it was suspected they had an ancestor that did fly, but the ability was lost over time. Alright, so the elephant in the room is I draw these feathered arms. Where are the raptor claws? Well, I forgot them. Or more accurately, I didn't see any when I was looking at the references on Pinterest. The Velociraptors on there only showed feathers but no claws, so next time I gotta use Google because I didn't really say claws and feathers. Which would have made the weapon choice easier because then I could have given them blade claws to fight with that maybe retracted like cat claws. But since I didn't give him claws or hands at all, his weapon of choice became throwing knives that he could go ahead and grab with his mouth. Not the most practical, but I couldn't think of another weapon he could use with no hands that followed the weapon options for rogue since they can't use crossbows, whips, or rapiers. And weapons were not the only design choice to consider modifying, and since raptors don't really wear clothes and I wasn't sure how he could wear pants, either low-rise below their tail or over their tail and almost halfway up their back. Actually, now I wish I did give him some cool baggy pants, going with that latter version. So you know what, version 2.0 will have some pants. Okay, backtracking. With no pocket or hip pack use, I decided to give him a backpack. But that did get changed. The throwing knives needed to be big enough for him to grab between his teeth, and the first version where I put them on his backpack made them look like toothpicks. So I changed it to a blanket that had the knives strapped on so he could theoretically grab the handles and toss them, or grab the handle, toss it up to catch it further down the blade, and use it to stab something. And missing the opportunity to put a dinosaur in pants, the only other item I could think of dressing him in was a hood. But more for aesthetics than anything, because my sketches that had him wearing the hood made me think that canonically, when his head would move to grab the blade, the hood would get in his eyes either from grabbing them or throwing them, kind of ruining their stealth ability. The more I reconsider different aspects of his design choice, I keep imagining a small 3-panel comic where it's just the Velociraptor being helped by some compies to figure out the logistics behind their clothing choices. Like the raptor deciding he wants to wear boots because he saw some rogues wearing them in a book and then can't get them on or off without struggling. Or him putting a hood on when trying to practice aiming by moonlight and botching hitting a target and having to ask a different dinosaur friend for help getting the cloth off his eyes. You know, stuff like that, so I might make little comics of the different dinos at some point too, existing in their fantasy world. Alright, since the inking has started, and I've run out of things to ramble about, why not enjoy the tavern music I found online, and I'll jump back in at the end with my final thoughts and where this drawing will go next.
Alright, jumping back in since the drawing is almost done to say thank you so much for watching and listening to my attempt to come up with a coherent string of thoughts, or at least more coherent than when I talk about anything off the cuff. I'll be finishing this piece up at a later time because I do want to turn all my dinosaurs into stickers and prints, and I did have the idea too to compile them into a design that resembles a field journal and someone taking notes on them as they see them in the wild, since this world I'm creating isn't just only dinosaurs that exist, but other humans and creatures. It's just at a point where dinos are like coming back and think more like people. Or at least that's what it is for now. So, thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you again in the next video. Go off and have a great adventure. Bye!